So good afternoon. Today's class, revision unit 2, types of cement. I'm going to be discussing about the unit 2, types of the cements as a revision class on 2nd May 2020. So in this topic, so we are going to be discussing about so what are the different types of the cement that we are going to be using for the various constructions. So the types of the cements is going to be classified depending upon that the strength, durability, and other factors, how the performance of the cement will be there for the concrete, for the preparation of the concrete. Based on that one, so we are going to be classified the types of the cements. Cement generally we are going to be classified as cement is the one of the binding material that we are going to be using into the constructions, engineering constructions or the various constructions. Yeah, apart from the construction materials are stone, that is the coarse aggregate, fine aggregate as sand, cement, and water. These are, we can say that the building materials that we are going to be using for the various constructions. In that, cement is going to be one of the binding material, playing a vital role in almost all the cement concrete constructions. Almost all in cement concrete constructions. So that's why we should know about the what are the different types of the cements are available, and where we can able to use safely, and we can able to achieve that the strength and durability. So as the point of view of the constructions, always one should understand, and one should satisfy the requirements are first parameter is strength parameter, second parameter is going to be called as durability. So always whatever may be the construction material that we are going to be using into the construction is going to be satisfying that the strength and durability. Later we had to be see that the performance. So the types cements are classified as one is based on that utility, and another one is going to call it based on the grade. Hydraulic cement and non-hydraulic cement. Hydraulic cement is that it is going to be sets with the help of the water, that we are going to call hydraulic cement. All the cements we are going to use it comes under the hydraulic cement. Non-hydraulic cement is it is not going to be setting properties with the water. It not going to be satisfying with the setting properties with the water. Then we are going to call as non-hydraulic cement. Example is plaster of Paris. So other than that one, so we are having that the cement are going to be classified as based on the grade. So that is 33 grade, 43 grade, and 53 grade cement. So 33 grade, 43 grade cement, and 53 grade cement. So 33 grade, that is the numerical number 33 is going to be specifying that. So the target strength after 28 days of curing, we are going to be achieving that 33 Newton per mm square. Similarly, target strength of 43 grade cement is 43 Newton per mm square after 28 days of curing. And the 53 grade cement is going to be after 28 days of curing, we are going to be getting the target strength is 53 Newton per mm square. So then, so in 33 or 43 or 53 grade cement comes under the ordinary Portland cement. And like that, we are having the various types of the cements that we are going to be used based on the requirement. So that we will go for one by one. So the types of the cements is the ordinary Portland cement, OPC, we are going to call it OPC. So the codal provisions we are going to be using for ordinary Portland cement is IS 269 1989, IS 8112 1989, IS 12269 1987, rapid hardening cement RHC, IS 8041 1990, sulfate resisting cement IS 2330 1988, Portland slag cement IS 455 1989, quick setting cement Portland Pozzolana cement. In that fly ash is the main ingredient. IS 1489 1991, and low heat cement IS 12600 1989, and white cement IS 8042 1989, and last one is going to be called as hydrophobic cement IS 8043 1991. So why we are going to be giving that IS? IS refers to the Indian Standard Code. So for each and every type of the cement, we are having that Indian code provisions, such that in the Indian code provisions throughout the India, so we are going to be following that the same guidelines. So in Indian Standard Code of Practice is going to be indicating that how we are going to be preparing the mix, and where we can able to use, and how we are going to be tested the cement. These are the guidelines that is going to be given by various code numbers. So if you see that ordinary Portland cement, we are having OPC IS 269 1989, you are going for 33 grade cement. So in that we can able to go for the what are the guidelines for the 33 grade cement. So how we are going to be tested and what are the its main functions where we are going to be using throughout the India. We are going to be using the same guidelines and same specifications. So that is the importance of Indian Standard Code of Practice. So we are going to be following for each and every type of the cement in the code. We are going, the specifying the code is going to be giving us the standard procedures and standard guidelines for each type of the cement. So that is the objective or the importance of IS code. Now we will see that the first one is going to be called as ordinary Portland cement. So this ordinary Portland cement available in the 33 grade, 43 grade and 53 grade cement. And where we are going to be using in olden days, almost all 33 grade cement is sufficient enough. Nowadays we are going for that the high rise buildings, and as the high strength will be required, then in that case we are going for the 43 and as well as 53 grade cement. 33 grade cement later onwards. So the various researchers, they studied the type of the cement, they did the research work, and then they found out that the 43 grade cement and 53 grade cement, and these are all comes under the high strength cement we are going to be using for the high rise buildings, or where the strength is the one of the parameter. Strength is we are going to be satisfying the one of the parameter. In that places we are going for the 43 and 53 grade cement. It is used for general construction purposes. It is also used in most of the masonry works. Almost all ordinary Portland cement 33 grade, then after that 43 and 53 grade. So this is going to be satisfying that the general construction as well as the masonry works. Nowadays 43 and 53 grade cement we are going to be using for high rise buildings or high strength buildings. We are going for 43 and 53 grade cement. Then the second classification or the second type of the cement is rapid hardening cement. Here the term itself is going to be giving us many rapid hardening. So we are able to get that the strength so in short period of time. So that is we are going to rapid, or we can say that in a few days we can, within a few days we can able to achieve the target strength, or it is going to be cement is going to be hardened. So that is we are going to be called as rapid hardening cement. The in rapid hardening cement, how this property is going to be achieving to the cement is by using the C3S, that is the tricalcium silicate, and is going to be a higher proportion, and we are going to be reducing the proportion of dicalcium silicate. So that one of the property or one of the ingredient C3S will be more, so then it is going to be attributing the early strength is going to be coming for the rapid hardening cement. So that is the one of the ingredient we are going to be using, and it will be having that the very fine, that is going to be attributing the rapid hardening cement. Then where we are going to be using that the rapid hardening cement, the most important thing is that where, because of the, it is going to be, instead of we are going for 28 days, we can able to achieving that 7 days and 14 days itself. So then we can able to use the formwork in other ways, in other parts we can able to use. That's why the first important use is that prefabricated constructions. So this rapid hardening cement is going to be used for prefabricated constructions, and we can able to use more in prefabricated construction. Means formwork we are going to be removing, because we want to put the concrete, the formwork will be necessary because it is going to be giving size and shape of the structural member. The formwork is going to be prepared for so the concreting. So then if you are going to be getting that instead of 28 days we are able to get 21 days or 14 days, automatically we can remove that the formwork and we can able to use in some other purposes. So that is we are going to call it prefabricated constructions. So in prefabricated constructions, we are going to be using the rapid hardening cement, and where formwork is required to be removed early for reuse elsewhere, also we are going to be using that the formwork requirement will be more, multiple number of times we can able to use by using the rapid hardening cement. And road repair works, because road means there is cement concrete roads. Cement concrete roads we are going for repairing works. In such cases, what is going to happen? It is going to be completing the task in very few days. Completing the task or the repair work is going to be completed because the early strength we are going to be achieving. So then we are going to be completing that the repair work in a few days. Then we are going to be allowing the traffic. Means road is going to be almost all is going to be busiest area. So we are not going to be interrupting the traffic. Then we are going to be allowing the traffic within a few days, and we are going to reopen the road for within a few days. That is going to be possible by using the rapid hardening cement. In cold weather concreting, this is also the most important characteristic of the rapid hardening cement we can able to use in cold weather concrete, because it is going to be getting early strength. That's why there is no need to go for the longer days. If you go for a longer days in cold weather concrete, what is going to happen? Mixing is going to be taking place long time. Then automatically the water is going to be, so the water is going to be forming the crystals. So we could not able to get the concreting of all the ingredients. That's why in cold weather concrete is going to be so the best uses of the rapid hardening cement. So then the next type of the cement is going to be called a sulfate resisting cement. So this is sulfate resisting means sulfate means soil is going to be almost all polluted by using the various chemicals. Then in that cases, so main concentration will be sulfate will be there. Then so in that areas means marine construction areas, we are going to be using the for the foundations sulfate resisting cement we are going to be using. So sulfate attack is greatly accelerated if accompanied by alternate wetting and drying, which normally take place in marine structures in the zone of tidal variations. So in the marine structures, almost all it is going to be the soil is going to be infested, or soil is going to be polluted. In that case, so we had to be put that the sulfate resistant cement for the constructions. Low C3A, so that is going to be tricalcium aluminate. C4AF, tetracalcium aluminoferrite, low content. In other words, this cement has high silica content. Silica has to be more, and so the alumina has to be less. Silica is more and alumina we are going to be reducing, so that is going to be causing the sulfate resisting cement. What are the uses? Concrete to be used in marine condition. Marine condition means salt is going to be more. The soil will be having that the salt content is more. That is going to be infested by using that the sulfates. So concrete to be used in foundation and basement where soil is infested with sulfates. Then concrete to be used in the construction of the sewage treatment works. Sewage treatment works also we are going to be using the sulfate resisting cement. Concrete used for fabrication of pipes which are likely to be buried in marshy region or sulfate bearing soils. So marshy means the slushy areas, or it is going to be called the waterlogged areas. So then the best type of the cement is going to be utilized because of the soil is going to be polluted completely with various ingredients. But that's why we are going to be using the sulfate resisting cement. So these are the areas is the best suitable is going to be called sulfate resistant cement. Then the next type of the cement is going to be called as Portland slag cement. So here the term itself is going to be giving you as meaning that Portland plus slag. Slag is going to be called as waste material that we are going to be added with that the Portland ingredients. That is the ordinary Portland cement ingredients. The slag is going to be added. Then we are going to be preparing the concrete or preparing the cement. We are going to call it Portland slag cement. So the slag maybe it is going to be coming as a ground granulated blast furnace slag, or it is going to be called as silica fume, or it is may fly ash. These are all we are going to be called as slag. Is going to be called as waste or the end material that is going to be coming out from various industries, manufacturing process itself. So the OPC clinker, that is ordinary Portland cement clinker plus 25 to 60% granulated blast furnace slag. That is GGBS, ground granulated blast furnace slag. This is going to be coming from the iron industries where the iron industries will be more. So then the end product is going to be coming, waste product is going to be coming after utilization of all the iron. So then we are able to get that is going to be called a slag is going to be comes as so the blast furnace slag. Then we are going to be put into the powder form that we are going to call a ground granulated blast furnace slag. So granulated blast furnace slag is a waste product of from the manufacture of the iron. The amount of iron and slag being obtained is in the same order. A proper slag is a mixture of what are the ingredients will be there in that with the in addition to the OPC clinker is lime 40%, silica 30%, alumina 20%, magnesia 5%, alkali oxide is 1%. So this is the approximate percentages of the slag we are going to add it with the OPC clinker. Then we are going to preparing the cement is going to be called as Portland slag cement. Then this cement is less reactive than OPC and gains strength at a slower rate during first 28 days. So adequate curing is essential. When compared to the OPC, ordinary Portland cement, this cement will be having this less reactive, but it is the rate of attaining the strength is going to be at a slower rate. Rate of attaining the strength is at a slower rate. If OPC getting the 28 days, it may go for more than 28 days to get that the target strength or to get the compressor strength. Where we can use that the Portland slag cement. So mass concreting works. So that is we are going to call a small scale works. We are going for the a Portland slag cement. Unsuitable for cold weather. Cold weather we cannot use because we are going to be using that the slag has high sulfate resistance, suitable for use in seawater construction. Like sulfate resistant cement, where we can able to use almost all we can able to use this the Portland slag cement also. Sulfate resistance will be high, and mass concreting works. So this is about that the Portland slag cement we are going to be using in the different areas. Then the another type of the cement is going to be called as quick setting cement. The term itself is going to be giving you as meaning it sets very fast. There in the rapid hardening cement, it hards very fast. It sets very fast. Set after that, it is going to be hardened. So that the quick setting cement is the peculiar property we are able to get. The setting is going to be very fast. So quick setting cement is the cement which sets very short time. The initial setting time is 5 minutes. If you take the OPC, ordinary Portland cement, initial setting time is going to be so not less than 30 minutes, or it is more than 30 minutes. And final setting time for ordinary Portland cement is 10 hours or 600 minutes. Here we can able to see that only in 30 minutes. So it sets within 30 minutes, half an hour. The plasticity characteristics is going to be 5 minutes. Then plastic stays, after that it sets in 30 minutes itself. So that is advantages while we are going to be using the quick setting cement. The composition of quick setting cement, how we can able to get the setting properties is that aluminum sulfate, clinker and aluminum sulfate 1% to 3% by weight of the clinker, we can able to get that the setting properties, quick setting properties by the ingredient of aluminum sulfate. The aluminum sulfate increases the hydration rate of silicate. Aluminum sulfate increase the hydration rate of silicate. That is about quick setting cement. Then where we can use a quick setting cement, which areas we can able to use this type of the cement. Almost a quick set means we can able to use that. So the underwater constructions where the water will be flowing perennial water is going to be perennial, always water will be available in that areas, that is the sea areas, the construction in the river. If we want to go for the construction in that particular areas, so water is always available, it is going to be flowing. Then we have to be complete the task in a few seconds, few minutes and few seconds. Then the quick setting cement is going to be useful. It is used in underwater construction. It is used in underwater construction. It is also used in rainy and cold weather conditions because always water will be there associated with the water, and then we have become our task is going to be completed very fast. It is used at a higher temperature where water evaporates easily. Higher temperature and where water evaporates easily. Use it for anchoring or rock bolt mining and tunneling. That is about that the areas where we are going to be using the quick setting cement. Then another one is going to be called as Portland Pozzolana cement. Earlier we saw that Portland slag cement. Now we are going to be using that the Portland Pozzolanas. So Pozzolana is going to be called as, also it is going to be called as artificial Pozzolanas and the natural Pozzolanas are there. Portland means ordinary Portland cement ingredients. Them and with the Pozzolana we are going to be, Pozzolana doesn't have any specific characteristics. Only we are going to be added with the Portland, only we can able to get the desired strength. We want to get the desired strength, we are going to be adding that the pozzolana, that is going to be called as waste material. Pozzolana is a volcanic dust found at Pozzoli, Italy, and used since Roman times as a hydraulic cement when mixed with the lime. All pozzolanas contain silica and siliceous or aluminous materials. Silica and alumina are the common, and with the help of the thing with the Portland cement ingredients, lime, silica, and alumina. So then we are going to be using with the clay and the other ingredients. We are going to be producing the cement is going to be called as Portland Pozzolana cement. So examples are, what are the pozzolanas? Fly ash, slag. Already we saw that blast furnace slag, silica fume or artificial pozzolanas. Volcanic ash is a natural pozzolana. Volcanic ash is natural pozzolana. Remaining whatever we are going to be using fly ash nowadays, fly ash bricks we are going to be preparing. Slag, that is the blast furnace. We are going to call it ground granulated blast furnace slag, GGBS. Silica fume. These are all from the various industries. We can able to get the end product or waste product that we are going to be utilized into that Portland and into the cement, and we are going to be manufacturing the process is going to be called Portland Pozzolana cement. Portland pozzolana cement produces less heat of hydration because of artificial pozzolanas and offers greater resistance to the sulfate attack and than OPC ordinary Portland cement, useful for marine and hydraulic construction and mass concrete works. Most pozzolanas do not contribute to the strength at early ages, so strength gain of this cement is slow. This is also how it is going to be preparing for the Portland slag cement. Portland pozzolana cement also it is going to be getting the strength at a delayed period, not within the 28 days. With the delayed strength we want to go for, then we are going to be using the Portland pozzolanas. The strength gain is going to be very slow process. In ordinary Portland cement, strength gain is going to be is a moderate level at the faster rate we can able to get it. Therefore, they require larger curing period, but the ultimate strength is same as OPC. So curing period will be more than whatever we are going to be giving for the ordinary Portland cement. So that is the advantages, and where the areas we can able to use that the Portland pozzolana cement means Portland pozzolana cement means where we are able to get that in abundant quantity of fly ash or granulated blast furnace slag or silica fume. These are the waste products are available in abundant in that areas. We can go for the Portland pozzolana cement means the industries, so we can able to see that the industries are there nearby, then we can able to utilize that into the manufacturing process of the cement. Silica fume also is one of the artificial pozzolana, so this is also we are going to call it micro silica, and it is going to be coming from the silicon industries. It is an ultra fine powder collected as a byproduct of the silicon and ferrosilicon alloy production. Where we are able to get that is going to be called as the silicon and ferrosilicon alloy production, and consists of spherical particles with an average particle diameter of 150 nanometers. The main field of the application is as pozzolanic material for high performance concrete. For high performance concrete, silica fume we are going to be using because of very fine powder form. Silica fume is a byproduct of producing silicon metal or ferrosilicon alloys. One of the most beneficial use for silica fume is the concrete. Because of its chemical and physical properties is very reactive pozzolane. Concrete containing silica fume can have very high strength and can be very durable. When compared to the fly ash and when compared to the ground granulated blast furnace slag, GGBS, silica fume will be having very high strength property. So we can able to use as silica fume as one of the pozzolana for the manufacturing of the cement, where we have to be get the high strength. Silicon metal and alloys are produced in electric furnaces. The raw materials are quartz, coal, and wood chips are the ingredients, basic ingredients in the silicon metal. So next type of the cement classification is type of cement is low heat cement. The term itself is going to be giving a meaning low heat. So heat of hydration is very low. Low heat cement is a special tailored cement which generates low heat of hydration during setting. Low heat, then the curing we can able to reduce it. If a high heat will be there, we have to go for the curing for longer periods. It is manufactured by modifying the chemical composition of normal Portland cement. This special type of cement is same as that of normal Portland cement with some percentage changes in the chemical composition. Which percentage we are be reduces is going to be called as low percentage of tricalcium C3A and higher percentage of dicalcium. C2S is approximately 46% and the C3A is 5%. Low percent we have to maintain that. So C3A is with less and a higher percentage of C2S, then we are going to be achieving is going to be called as low heat cement. We are going to be mainly concentrated on that high heat, where which are the elements contributing the high heat is going to be called as C3S. Is high heat is we are able to get it. Similarly, we are having C4AF is high heat we are able to get it. So that's we had to be reduces the proper ingredients. Then we are going to be increasing that the C2S and C3A. We can able to get that the low heat cement. Where we had below is the low heat cement. Low heat cement will be having characteristics of initial setting time 60 minutes is minimum, final setting time is 12 hours maximum. So we will use ordinary Portland cement is 10 hours is the final setting time, but here 12 hours. Similarly, So because of the low heat, we can go for more number of hours. And initial setting time 30 minutes is ordinary Portland cement. Here 60 minutes is the minimum. So low heat of hydration is 20% lesser than that of OPC cement. The amount of water required for hydration is low. Less water we can, it is going to be to make the road and workroom surface of factories such as chemical plants and sulfuric acid factories, majorly used in construction dams, large footings, large raft slabs, wind turbine plants. These are the areas we are preferably using the low heat cement. Mainly we are going for construction of the dams and large raft slabs and wind turbine plants. Then the another type of the cement is going to be called white cement. This is mainly we are going to be using for the decorative purposes. White cement, the term itself is going to be giving white in color. Previous one, all the cements, whatever we saw that the ordinary Portland cement, rapid hardening cement, quick setting cement, and Portland Pozzolana cement, Portland slag cement, all it is going to be called as grayish in color, but white cement will be having white in color. This is the combination of iron oxide and manganese oxide is going to be providing them, is going to be giving the color to the cement is in the white. China clay is generally used together with chalk or limestone free from specific impurities. The cost of grinding is higher and is completed with the more expensive raw materials makes white cement rather expensive about 2 times. Is white cement rather expensive to about 2 times, because while you are going for the other cements with that one, here the more grinding will be required. That's why it is going to be expensive one. White cement is going to be expensive one when compared to the ordinary Portland cement. White cement is used for architectural purposes. It is not liable to cause staining since it has low content of soluble alkalis. Where we are going to be using, it is used in decorative works. It can also use it for traffic barriers, tile grouts, swimming pools, roof tiles, patching materials, and terrazzo surfaces. So these are the areas we are going to be using the white cement. Main thing is decorative work, and then use it for traffic barriers in the roads. We can able to use in the traffic barriers, and we can be able to use for the traffic signal, traffic curbs. In the curbs, we are going for the white cement. We are going painting with the white one. For that purpose, we are going to be using. Then another type of the cement is hydrophobic cement. So what is the advantages or what is the characteristics of the hydrophobic cement? Hydrophobic cement means hydro means water. Means it is not going to be reacted very fast with the moisture, and it is not going to be giving as lumps inside the cement bag. That is known as the hydrophobic cement. How we can able to get it hydrophobic cement? So this is of the oleic acid and stearic acid. Oleic acid and stearic acid is going to be giving you that your cement will be a fine powder form. Hydrophobic cement is obtained by grinding ordinary Portland cement clinker with water repellent film forming substance such as oleic acid and stearic acid. The clinker is going to be grinding with oleic and stearic acid compound such that your cement will be fine powder form, and also it is not going to be creating any lumps inside the cement bag. So that is the advantage by using hydrophobic cement. The water repellent film formed around each grain of the cement reduces the rate of deterioration of the cement during long storage, transport, or under unfavorable conditions. What is the advantage will be there with the hydrophobic cement? Long storage, if you go for the long storage, then water repellent film is going to be destroyed, and transport are under unfavorable conditions. So water repellent film are formed under around each grain of cement, reduces the rate of deterioration cement during long storage. If you go for long storage and transport for longer distances under unfavorable conditions, this is going to be acting as a, it is not going to be creating the lumps, moisture. It is going to be attacking with the moisture and make sure that the cement will be in fine powder form. The film is broken out when the cement and aggregate are mixed together at the mixer, exposing the cement particles for normal hydration. Once we are going to be opening up of the bag and we have to go for the mixing of all the ingredients at that time, so the water repellent film will be broken. Then it is going to be suitable for mixing of the ingredients. So that is the, so the characteristics of the oleic acid and stearic acid are water repellent film in the clinker. So the film forming water repellent material will entrain a certain amount of air in the body of the concrete which incidentally will improve the workability of the concrete. Ordinary cement gets deteriorated and loses some its strength, whereas the hydrophobic cement, which does not lose strength, is an answer for such situations. So that is the advantage. While you are going to be interacting with the water, then what are the uses of hydrophobic cement? Where we can use? Usually, it is used in the construction of water structures such as dams, spillways, or other submerged structures. It is also used in the construction of underground structures like tunnels, etc. So hydrophobic cement is going to be that it is not going to be get lumps very easily if it is we are going to be using that the oleic and stearic acid as the ingredients in the with the clinker. With that, so water repellent film, it is going to be safeguarding that the cement in the it has to be made for longer storages, and we can go for the transport to the longer distances. It is going to be acting in the cement bag and make sure that the cement will be in fine powder form. So this is about that the various types of the cements that we are going to be using into the constructions depending upon that the purpose.